Everybody as well.
Tracey dragged me into this. Are you still on PC? Yeah, I gave my rock. Yeah, I had full season for college. And then they all have like random
Well, yeah.
We can have everyone work their way to a seat, please. Thank you. Jeff, is this there we go? Thank you, everybody, for being here on this wonderful day over Alumni Weekend. If you don't know me, my name is Ryan Hooper. I'm the athletic director here at the college. And I would just like to thank you all for being here. This is probably one of the biggest crowds that we've had, and it's just a kudos to this induction class that we have with us this year. You know, we're here today to celebrate all of your accomplishments as student athletes, as administrators, as members of this campus, and the impact that you've had on this institution. So once again, from the families and alumni, the faculty, staff in the room, but most importantly to the people sitting in front of me here, thank you. This is a very special day and a very special class, and before we begin, I'd also like to honor those that are here in attendance that are also a part of our Athletic Hall of Fame. So if we have any inductees, Hall of Fame members, I would please ask you to stand to be recognized. Building blocks of Oneonta athletics. I would also like for our Hall of Fame committee, which is chaired by Jeff Hazard, to please stand and be recognized if they're in the room. Thank you. This committee takes a whole lot of time to go through the hundreds and hundreds of former student athletes that we have and the amazing accomplishments that they've done to try to narrow it down to a very small group every single year. And it gets harder and harder because of all the success that we've had. So once again, it's just a kudos to those that are sitting here with us. In a few minutes, we're going to be bringing the Hall of Famers up to share some of their stories. But before, I'd like to kind of provide some updates from athletics. But I'd also like to recognize each of you by your names. First off, we have our 4x400 relay team, national championship relay team, comprised of Eric Theiss, Fred Romer, Sean Daly, and Joe Reed. Dina St. Clair, who was a three-sport athlete in field hockey, basketball, and softball. Ainsley Stoll of the field hockey team. Gerald Jones of men's basketball. Tracey Ranieri, who was a national championship winning soccer coach, women's soccer coach. Director is my former boss and my mentor. And of course, Eileen McClafferty. And she's just supported our students in so many different ways in her time at the college. So thank you all. So before we bring you all up, I'd like to talk a little bit about athletics and where we are. I'm not sure if you've been able to get around campus, but I'm sure it looks a little bit different from maybe the times that you were here. Since I came to the college in 2014, we've seen a ton of growth in our athletic facilities. We have 4 new athletic turf fields, 2 of which went in 2015. Our baseball field was turfed in 2019, and our softball field was completed last spring, I believe. And a lot of that was with the hard work from Tracey and her vision for the campus, along with the collaboration that we had with our facilities and the administration here on campus to really show how much athletics is valued in the role that we play at Oneonta here. We have resurfaced our Dewar Arena. I'm not sure if you've been in there. I know the floor coverings are down, but we did that last summer, and they told us it's the biggest logo that we were able to put on an actual floor of a Red Dragon. It's freaking awesome. So if you get a chance to see it, it's absolutely beautiful. We have some other projects coming up. We're looking to expand some fitness centers. We're doing a renovation on our pool. Chris Schuler's in the room. I know she hears me say this all the time, but it's happening, Chris. It is happening. Along with other renovations in Chase PD and some other areas on the campus. Academically, they continue to get it done in the classroom. The department's GPA continues to be above a 3.0, and it just goes to show, how much work they put into their academics is the same that they're putting into their sport. They continue to be recognized for academic honors as Chi Alpha Sigma inductees, commissioners, academic honor roll members, academic All-Americans, members of the Provost and Dean's List, among other academic accomplishments. Obviously, they know how to get it done. Service-wise, our student athletes feel very passionate about the service that they provide their campus community as well as the local community. They did over 7,000 hours of community service this past year and raised over $4,000 for charities. And working through their hectic schedules with competitions, training, and classes, they were still able to provide that service to the community, and that's just a testament to our student athletes and their dedication to those around them. As we talk about fundraising, we've done a lot of fundraising this year. This is very important to our department because that helps us offset some of the costs that we incur throughout the year. We continuously try to find new ways to bring in dollars for our student athletes, for the extra support that they need to compete at the highest levels in the region, in the Northeast, and nationally. We will be having an athletic alumni event this fall. I'm not sure those of you in the room that have been at our Dining for Champions event in the past. It's not necessarily going to be that event, but we are going to be having an alumni kind of reunion where we're going to celebrate the 20-year anniversary of our 2003 Women's Soccer National Championship team. Those that were supportive and donated towards the Don Extall scoreboard, as well as all of our academic All-Americans that we've had over the past however many years. I think we have, what, how many, Jeff? 17 or 18? What else do we have going on? So that'll be September 9th. We will be sending a lot of information out from the Alumni Association, so hopefully you can join us for that. We had a very successful 3 days of giving this past May. A lot of you in the room were a part of that, and we were able to generate about $30,000 for our Student Athlete Travel Fund, all of which goes directly back to our student athletes to help support them traveling and competing regionally. That was from 475 plus donors, which was a growth from last year, and we hope to continue to do that as we move into next year. We also have, and some of you will be there at our golf tournament in a couple weeks. That's also just another way to bring alumni back, bring Friends of Athletics back, and just really have a good time and generate some dollars for our student athletes. Athletically, they continue to get it done on the field, in the pool, on the court, on the mat. We did have one team reach the NCAA tournament with our men's soccer team, who also won the conference championship. We had an individual conference. We had numerous individual conference champions on the cross country and track and field side, as well as one of our throwers went to both indoor and outdoor nationals with Izzy Fabrizio for the shot put. I mean, these are just a few highlights from all the wonderful things that our student athletes have done over the year, and it's just going to continue to get better. And that's also a kudos to one, what's been built here with those in the room, but to our staff. I'd also like to give a big shout out to our staff and our coaches and our support staff that are in the room. Thank you for all that you do. All these things that I've talked about, and I'm going to shut up soon, I promise. They don't happen without the groundwork that's been laid from the people in this room and the amazing individuals in this induction class. You have made a lasting impact on this institution, our department, and our student athletes, whether you realize it or not, so thank you. So, at this point, I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to introduce my boss, the Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Tracey Johnson, who's going to provide us with a brief welcome.
Good afternoon. This is my first day with shoes on. Accident. What old people do, ring toes, right? So welcome. First and foremost, let me say thank you so much for being here, coming home. Welcome home, Red Dragons, welcome home. And for those that are here and still a part of the community, we like to thank you for your attendance, your support today. I like to acknowledge the inductees today for all your hard work. This is about you. So I'm not going to stand before you long. The athletics department and athletics is so important to the thriving of our students. It teaches leadership, perseverance, teamwork. It builds community. And so as Ryan said in his opening remarks, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for laying the foundation and then also keeping your light lit so that our current students can see what hard work pays off, how it pays off, not just now, but also in the future. So we ask that you stay connected with us. If you're not connected with the alumni office, we ask that you get connected with the alumni office. We even invite our younger future Red Dragons to get connected, right? We plant the seeds early. So thank you so much. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy this time. And once again, congratulations to our inductees for your hard work and it is paying off, and this is the dividends. We're going to give you your flowers today. So smell them, enjoy them, and continue to plant the seeds. Have a wonderful day. I will be around. Thank you.
So at this point, we're going to bring up Jeff Hazard, who is the chair of the Hall of Fame committee and our MC for today. He's going to be bringing a few of the inductees up and sharing some stories. He's since retired last year. He was with the college as our sports information director for 23 years. He formed this our Athletic Hall of Fame, and he is the main reason that all of you are here today. And I know he probably hasn't shared it, but Jeff is also being inducted into his own Hall of Fame coming up. Lifetime Achievement Award for the college sports communicators. So, Jeff, congratulations to that. Jeff Hazard.
Thank you, Brian. So, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
It's great to be here. For everyone who knows me, I love this day. This day means so much to me because it's a chance to reconnect with some athletes that I've had the pleasure of watching compete, and some new athletes who I didn't get a chance to watch, but also know that you're legends. So for me, I love to meet the legends. Family and friends, yes, it is all about them. It's just such a great time to be back here in Oneonta, and we're just going to enjoy the day, and we're going to try and get it started right now with a short video, and then we will get into our actual induction. Before we begin, we have had some Hall of Famers that have passed in the last year, and we would like to take a moment of silence to recognize them, and notably Don Jester, who passed away last fall. His son Brian is here representing the family today. Deepest condolences, Brian. Don grew up in Oneonta. He came to the college. He came up the hill and was an all-star and a legend, and he's a Hall of Famer. So we wanted to take a moment to have a moment of silence. Thank you. Joe hands off to Fred. Fred's number 2 guy. Fred is going to hand off to Sean. Don't worry, that guy runs out of steam by the end. That guy in the front has the, oh my God, I can't believe I still have longer to run. And our closer, Theiss. Not a bad way to start. Kick it off. Just a little juice. Eric was not getting caught, I can tell you that. I don't know about you. Every time I watch that, I don't know if you guys have watched, I don't know how often you watch it, I know but I still get, it's just goosebumps and adrenaline. I mean, it's just incredible. It's incredible. So that's kind of your intro. Each one of them is accomplished in their own way. I mean, we got All-Americans, conference champions, national qualifiers within this four, and together, national champions. So please welcome Eric Theiss, Joe Reed, Sean Daly, and Fred Roman. It's my honor. At this time, I'm going to ask Eric, on behalf of the foursome, to kind of do a little Q&A with me. So congratulations, guys. Yes, he is. From the mouths of babes, right?
Hello, Jeff.
Future national champion?
We'll see.
First of all, again, congratulations to the four of you guys. Just incredible. I guess my first question is how did this fantastic four get together? Like, how did it become assembled?
Well, let's see. I think it would be started with Mr. Reed being recruited. I mean, you really want to be recruited and join the team. So he started the bunch, I guess. Well, he's, in years started the bunch. I tried to come here and play baseball. So I had tried out in the fall and didn't make it, and just in high school, I always did baseball and track, so I was like, oh, let me go into the track office, and walked into Matt and Mike's office and said, hey, I'd like to try out. They're like, okay. Showed up to fall and, kind of took life of its own, but I guess luck of life, seemed like our first year, Joe and I ended up rooming together for almost every meet, and stayed that way most of the time. And then we were just laughing how Fred came along on a recruiting trip, and still looked the same as he does now, and joined on, and then we kind of had our thing going for a little bit. We, got on the relay. Start off with Oneonta's own Adam Remillard and Scott Pollard back in the day, and kind of worked our way through, and we were all grouped together, and then kind of the last piece was Sean. Sean came in, he was telling our story about, we knew we were looking for somebody, and heard he had some speed on the distance side. We needed someone to finish that leg for us, so we pseudo-recruited him as an 800 guy. I was saying, hey, like, come to the track side, you don't need to do cross country, I know you did well in cross country, the team did well, at the time. And,
yeah. So if you're fast in the 800, the 400 was nothing. Yeah. So that experience of being out there, certainly, that year we had a couple individual qualifiers, you and Joe, and unfortunately your race didn't go the way you wanted it, but now you're looking at the next day and like, what is that whole thing like with the four?
For me personally, I'm sure I was emotional. It was, I was upset, disappointed, and I don't know what maybe brought it back together, but I think it always comes down to like, Matt and Mike, our coaches, always just saying there's a job to do, and I guess selfishly for me, it was always the team dynamic. It always started and ended with the team, and so the relay was our thing. It wasn't just on that individual. Sometimes people think track is an individual accomplishment, but I think the message was always, a team element. And if it was do your job and do your individual to get SUNY points for those meets, ECACs, things like that. But at the end of the day, I think it was always a team effort. And for me, the relay was always the most fun, to be a part of something.
Right. So what do you think that experience has done for you in the four? We have a lawyer, master electrician, we have a college coach. Certainly all successful in their own right. You're working in minor league baseball, the world's fastest squirrel at one point, Ace. I didn't bring my bobblehead. I have it at home of Ace, the squirrel. So how do you think that transitioned into kind of your success in Oneonta? What did Oneonta do for you guys?
I guess for us, that it was a lifestyle, right? Like Mike Schmidt, our coach at the time, always talked about lifestyle. It wasn't just, maybe in high school you talk about coaching and, it's just what's on the field and we're going to work and be better. But, Matt and Mike really took it to the next level. I learned how to eat properly, train properly, sleep, study time. Like we had, organized study hours on the bus, and it became a whole lifestyle. And I will speak for myself that like I think about those things. I've carried that throughout my life of eating right and sleeping right, and just the determination, organization, and that kind of stuff of a process-oriented mindset. And I think that's what displays through my friends here, that in their own right they do it as being a father or a lawyer, or Joe now has to be the coach and deal with student athletes, and it's that what we learned, we've carried it through our lives. So.
Right. What are you most thankful for during your experience?
These guys, the team, what I learned, my friends. Still friends. We still talk and see each other as much as we can. And there's a lot of people that are not in this room that I know we all still keep in contact with. And the nice part about track is it's so broad. The women's team and individual, throws and jumps, and can talk about all these different people who do different sports essentially, where we were all able to bond and have a moment and be part of a team.
Right. Anybody in particular maybe within this group you want to say thank you to for maybe getting to the finish line here, so to speak?
I think everybody. I think my family were huge in being a part of it, and I know I'm thankful for my parents who. Our first year, talking about being out in the rain out in Wisconsin, they drove all the way out and came out to see us, however long that was, and stood in the pouring like monsoon of rain for us to run, and not even qualified. We went out there for our 4 minutes and then came all the way back. And, my beautiful wife and my boys who have, are now grown up, and I hope that, I just try to instill what I've learned here in my time, that it gets passed down, because it was special. And, spending time with the administration, get to know through our accolades, and, got to be part of, all the staff and administration, both in the athletic department, outside of the athletic department. Like, everybody started to, not necessarily know us around campus, but, knew that we had been doing things and accomplishing things, and, it was just nice to be a part of something. I think that's what Oneonta was most enjoyable about, was the campus. I felt was large. There's a big student body, but it was a small where everybody knew you and you could say hello to people. And we knew the lady swiping your card at the dining hall because we were there so many times late at night. And then even knowing you, Jeff, and your family, and spending time with you in the athletic department was just it was nice. It was great.
Well, we certainly want to congratulate you once again, and our men's 4x4. I'm going to start already, right? Our next inductee is a self-professed non-athlete, but found herself as one of our biggest supporters in the athletic department. And we are so glad she found us. I personally, worked on many committees. She was across campus. Her goal, if you talk about someone and the things that you want to pass on in life, integrity, honesty, wanting to do the right thing, that is this woman right here. She did all of that, and she is all about that. Our campus is a better place, and athletics is a better place because of Eileen McClafferty. Please join me in welcoming Dina to our Hall of Fame.
A microphone.
She does have other awards. You told me you had a math award.
Yes, I do want you to know that my two sisters, who are both college athletes, are here. And I said I wasn't going to cry, but I will. And they came because they didn't believe this was happening. How could the president of the math club being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
I just told them. They know now.
It happened.
It's so, again, it's so wonderful to see you, and so it's such a great honor. And how did you come to find athletics, and why were you such a supporter of student athletes?
Well, I think I watched my sisters, and I knew what they sacrificed and what it took for them to be quality athletes, both in high school and in college. And then, of course, Steve Perry said to me, Eileen, we need some help on the Intercollegiate Athletic Board. I think you'd be a good member. This would be good for you. And then after him, Tracey came to me and said, Eileen, we need to do something. Has anyone ever been able to say no to Tracey?
Yes.
Is there anyone? Anyone who has ever in their life been
Anyone
able to
brave enough
get
to
away
say that? That's the question. Anybody brave enough to say that?
So Tracey kind of pulled me into a number of things, but the rewards were all of mine. Whether it was working with Liz, and being a mentor to the soccer team, and to the women from the soccer team, thank you for trusting me enough to help you along the way. To all the other coaches who trusted me to work with them, to you and the Hall of Fame, thank you very much. This is a real honor. I'm not a person who likes to have attention brought to himself, but it's a really nice culmination to a career that was important, and it was about finding ways to help students, and especially student athletes, find their place.
So you served on a lot of committees. You finished before retirement. You are chair of our Intercollegiate Athletics Board. You're a SUNY Chancellor's Award winner. You're Chi Alpha Sigma, you've been inducted into so many honor societies. I mean, you know, some people say, you know, greatness has a thrust upon them, or they find their way to these things. I mean, is that kind of maybe the way it was? You just kept taking more things on, and you just kind of found a way?
I think I did, and I think I've always been an advocate, and I think that notion of paying it forward. My high school English teacher is here.
Could you please stand? High school English teacher right there. Thank you very much for coming. Wow.
I think I learned early on the power of words, and a kind word can take you a long way, and a not kind word can really hurt. I had a high school guidance counselor who told me I wasn't college material, and then I had a high school English teacher who taught the SAT prep and said, Eileen, you can do this, you've got it. And I think it's that notion that everybody has some good in them, and you just have to find that good and support them and push them. And I wanted to use that and pay it forward in all the things that I've done. And I've never been, like I said, someone who brings attention to herself. But I've been reading some Seamus Heaney, and his poem Digging is about, he, the poet, is talking about how his father and his grandfather used a spade and worked the earth, and how they built their family and the tradition and their community based upon this skill that he had. And he realizes that he does not have that skill, and yet there are other ways that he can build community. And I feel the same way about athletics. I can't kick a ball on the pitch, and I can't hit a ball or play softball or tennis like my sisters did, but I can root for people, and I can see the good in them, and I can help them find their strength, maybe when they're not even seeing their own strength. And that's what I tried to do. And Tracey and I think had a great partnership together, because my focus was on academic, and Tracey's was athletic. And it's not that we didn't see each other's point of view, but that was the focus of our job. So how do you merge those two things? And I think we did a lot of really good things in terms of working better at student scheduling and making sure we had a probation program in place, making sure that we had standards that students had to meet from beginning to end in the recruitment process, making sure we were bringing in the right students and making sure that they understood what they were getting into and what was going to be expected of them, and understanding the sacrifices that they made by being part of a team. And so I think the first step into athletics, and then there's no coming back, because it's amazing to watch athletes perform at the level that they do and perform in the classroom. And so I think it's that merger that was important to me.
Is there one thing that you might maybe point to that you're most proud of during your time here?
Surviving?
I survived too, so we both survived. Yeah, I mean, is there one, maybe a program or a student or a committee that maybe you were on?
I think it's the experience as a whole. I said before that in many ways it was almost like Camelot. I had really good supervisors in Steve and Jean and Roger, and certainly Eileen Morgan-Zajac, my final supervisor before I retired, Ed Griesmer, Fran Daly, Nancy Walters, Sue Cagle, all the people who came before. And I think that's it. It's the trajectory of your career and the trajectory of the people that you're with, and then all of the good people that you work with. And you know, the Karen Browns and Joanne Murphys and Emily Namis and all the people who are here who have supported me, and we've supported each other. When you have a common goal and a common vision, you can accomplish so much. And I think that's what we did for the campus and for each other.
Well, again, we are certainly glad you found athletics, and we can't thank you enough. And congratulations. Next inductee, I kind of use the line throwback athlete because we don't find many three-sport athletes anymore. They're kind of a dying breed. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate because you can learn so much crossover from playing many different sports. And she played field hockey. She was the goalie. Basketball, she was a guard and kind of played a bunch of different positions. And in softball, she started as an outfielder, but then Coach Llewellyn made her a catcher. And I don't know whether she's excited about that now to this day, but that's where she made her mark as far as being an all-conference player in softball. And I just had to think about that. I don't know if I would want to be someone who is getting hard balls shot at them and someone pitching like 60 miles an hour while you're just sitting there waiting for the ball. So that's pretty courageous. She was on an NCAA field hockey team. She was the goalie and had a pretty exciting year there as well. And she spent her entire professional career serving our country. And I would like to say thank you very much for doing that. In the Navy, right? Why are you in the Navy, right? You can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. I know that song. Anybody else? That's awesome. So thank you very much for your service, and we are certainly proud of you, and you are so well deserved this honor. So please join me in welcoming Dina St. Clair to our athletic program. So, yeah.
I should have put my spandex on before I came.
So before we get into what you
I try not to give anything, Christy. I'll make sure I keep them together.
How did you find Oneonta?
So Oneonta was, I wasn't really college material in high school. I didn't have the grades and that kind of stuff. I was actually joking with the girls the other night about my best friend and I were like 68 and 69 out of 72 in the little town of Whitehall, which is the birthplace of the United States Navy. How ironic, my mother used to say. Anyway, the Grassdorfs, Jane Grassdorf, her brother Ron was actually the boys' baseball coach at the high school when I was growing up. So we knew Jane, and they were from Granville, the town right next door. So basically, we started talking about it, and I came here, saw her, and then she ended up helping me get into the Equal Opportunity Program. So I was able to come with not so good of grades, and plus with my family not having a lot of money and everything, I was able to come. So it was pretty much because of Jane Grassdorf that I am here. I wasn't going to get upset, and I was worried about like getting teary or whatever, but and then I saw Eileen get upset, so I was like, okay, I'm good. I get a little cry.
It's all good.
It'll be okay.
As long as
Yeah.
So you got here, and now you're playing 3 sports again. Like it's pretty hard to manage all that, your time and stuff. So what was your experience like throughout your athletic career? It must have been pretty crazy.
It was crazy. And I played basketball with Christy Morello too, so that was a little crazy too.
Hall of Famer.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, I met so many people, and just, and the great friends that I have, from the teams and stuff that are here today, and, and forever I'll have those people, It just, I being in Oneonta as a freshman, I had some seniors that were, basically kind of party animals, but I had some different introduction to, like, what was the right thing to do or whatever. So basically, I will say that I did play on a lot of teams, but during that time frame, we had like freshman initiation. I don't even know if they do that anymore, but it got me ready for my Navy life because I had some initiation in that too. So, but that was like the start of it. So when they said initiation, I'm like, okay, well, no big deal. So, but I think for basketball, I think they just put a whole said I was wired and like tied me up with some kind of rope or something, like wires. Yeah, no, I won't tell you about getting dropped off at the Oneonta airport with pillowcases over our heads, 2 of us. But in the long run, we won because we hit on them, so they thought their roommates were giving them a hard time that we were kidnapped, out there 3 miles out. Back then, I didn't really want to run 3 miles to get back in. But yeah, no, it was a little crazy. Yeah.
Times have changed. Times have changed.
Yeah.
Times are gentler teams now, I think.
People smoking in the bathroom, basketball games. Yeah, that was me as a freshman going, what is that smell?
So you found it. So in your transition, you had a few coaches. You said that you started with Steve Garner as your first coach, and then Don Flowing after leaving the basketball program. He came over to softball. And so what was that transition like, and why do you think that the team was successful? Post. What do you think was the dynamic after that?
Well, I mean, Flu was intense at times, but he basically, he loved the game. He loved all of us. He was great, and he knew what he wanted us to accomplish, and we all loved playing for him. He was fun, and but he was serious, and taught a lot of people, knew a lot of stuff about the game, and put his time and effort into us and making us better and working us together. And getting the players to come in and recruit, the better people, the pitchers and stuff, like Bonnie, who was there, so that's what you need with softball, it's about the pitching. If you don't have a good pitcher, you're not going to do well, so.
Although I will say that the history of our Hall of Fame, we've inducted quite a few catchers. There's something about that position that seems to be, you're like the field general. I mean, do you feel that way, that you're kind of in control of the game?
Well, I wasn't. Flu was behind the fence. He was helping me because I'd never caught before, and especially to somebody that had different pitches. So, when she threw her changeup, you had to know it was coming, or I would miss it too. So, I mean, he did a lot of the generaling.
Not Flu. So, you spent your entire professional career pretty much serving our country in the Navy, and, those lessons. I mean, so what from Oneonta helped you, in the Navy, besides the initiation stuff?
I won't talk about that, because that's not so, I mean, basically, it was the whole teamwork, the camaraderie thing. I mean, that's huge in the military, We have to rely on each other and have each other's backs all the time. And that's exactly what we did as teammates, is, you had to help each other out. Like me sitting up here, I wouldn't be sitting up here if it was for my team, Like I told you, that field hockey team that we played against Trenton State, the girls were phenomenal. They worked well together, and all the teams that I played with, there was just a lot of, togetherness, basically, we called it.
Now, so you're kind of an ultra athlete now, which is, she's run marathons. She's like an age group winner. She's phenomenal fitness endurance person. So more things. So how did you get into that?
I think when I was here, there was a couple coaches that I knew that ran. So I went and I did the Utica Boilermaker a couple times. I think that was like my junior year, my senior year. And I started running then. My first 2 years, I didn't really do a lot of running or anything like that with the sports and stuff. I really wasn't, like I said, I gained the freshman 50 because I loved those, what are those croissant things that were at Shoemaker Hall? I ate 5 of those a day, right? So my junior year, I pretty much stopped the partying and decided that I was going to get myself in shape. That's when I started running and doing all that stuff. So, and that's when it all really started. But my family background, obviously, everybody's athletic and all that kind of stuff. Nobody's really a runner per se, but as far as the athleticism and stuff like that. And plus, when I was in the Navy, I did all that stuff with the fitness, with helping the service members get into shape and that kind of stuff, and did physical therapy and things like that. So I really enjoy doing that. And if you're going to do the part, you need to play the part too, as far as helping people out, because they look at you differently if you're trying to help them out and you're not in shape, I guess.
Do you have a favorite place that you were stationed while you were in the Navy?
Pensacola, Florida was my favorite place. It's beautiful down there. The white beaches, once you go there and you see those white beaches, and I got stationed in San Diego, and I was like, this is dirt. Like going to the lakes and stuff here, and now it's like dirt, you know. But Pensacola, the beaches are so beautiful, and it is really a beautiful military area as well, as far as the bases and things like that.
Is there anyone that you would like to thank for all your accomplishments, or just thank him personally for your support?
Well, of course, like as I said, I have to thank Jane, because she was responsible, and I would not be here, sitting here in front of you, if it was not for her. I want to thank Flu. I mean, he was instrumental the last year. I wasn't going to play softball anymore, but he was a great coach, and he's been there for all of us and my other softball buddies that are here. So he is wonderful, and I thank you, Flu, very much. And I just want to thank all my teammates and my coaches, because my teammates, if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be here either. So, so thank you very much for your support.
Congratulations once again. So next inductee, certainly had an opportunity to watch her perform on the field. And the words that come to my mind are, she is Miss Automatic on the penalty corners. For any of you who have watched field hockey or know field hockey, penalty corners, when everybody lines up and you essentially get like a free shot at the goal. And the percentages are with you, that you can score a lot of goals. So her freshman year, we're watching, and I'm in the press box, and we're starting to see a little pattern develop. And every time she's on the corner, all you hear is the back of the goal. So I just stopped watching, and I just started listening, because I knew it was going to the back of the goal every time she was on the corner. And phenomenal field hockey player of the year, all conference, all region. One of our top 3 scorers all time in goals and points. I mean, it took almost that, because I had been here since 99, and it took almost until your time to get someone to score 100 points. I mean, that's a lot. So it's very rare in field hockey to reach 100 career points, and she went right past it. So phenomenal. It was a pleasure watching you perform. I mean, it was, I'm telling you, automatic, just bang, just hit the goal. Please to help me welcome Ainsley Stoll to our Hall of Fame. I do want to thank her as well. She did serve in the National Guard after graduation, so thank you very much for your service as well. And now, so Oneonta, you're from Buffalo, which is the other part of the state.
Solid 4 hours away.
Yeah. What was Oneonta? Why did you come here?
I liked that it was like a big family vibe, I guess. That was like the main reason. Like I came here and I just felt like I was home, honestly. It was, at the long run, it was between here and Cortland as like my final 2.
Well, we're glad she came here.
So I decided Oneonta for the family vibe. Yeah.
The other regular. So what was your experience like playing? You played for 3 different coaches
I did.
in 4 years, which is pretty tough for anyone, and she's still, the team was still accomplished things and yourself. I mean, sometimes athletes can give up because they're like, well, what's this? I'm going to have a new coach, what do I want to play? So tell us about your experience and how that...
Yeah, it was definitely challenging having a different coach. A different coach recruited me. I came here my freshman year, it was a different coach, and then Kuman, as I still call her, took over. So it was definitely challenging. It was definitely, you had to dig deep mentally to keep that motivation and that drive to like continue to push yourself when you didn't have that coach behind you, because it was a transitional period.
And do you think that, like leadership, talk about how important it is to have leaders on a team. Did you find yourself becoming that leader?
Yeah, I was definitely like not more of a vocal leader as opposed to more of like, watch me while I play and follow my move type leader. But yeah, definitely a little bit of that I picked up.
And What about your experience in general do you think allows you to accomplish things post graduation as well?
I think sports in general just give you that like structure, I guess you can say. Like even when I was in college here, I work out, I go to my classes, and I would practice, and then I'd do it all over again the next day. Like it gives you that structure and that mindset to continue into like your adult life and your real world life.
And you deliver mail now,
I
so
do.
you have to
I'm
be
a
on
mailman.
schedule because I
Yep.
don't want late mail.
Yep.
So, do you have a story maybe from your time here that maybe you'd like to share with us?
Well, definitely the highlight was when we beat Hartwick my freshman year, obviously. Gotta love that. I came to the wall, so that was worth it. But I mean, every experience has been a great story, a great life lesson. You know what I mean? Like it's just everything here comes together for like, it's just so rewarding. It really is. I can't pick one thing, one story, and it was all just great.
Anyone you'd like to thank?
Well, Kuman, because she was a great example. When we finally had like the solid coach, I wanted to follow her lead and have, similar accomplishments that she had, and she led by example, so I followed suit. And so, obviously, Tracey, I always heard her yelling on those corners. Yeah. But yeah, even like my like high school coaches, any coach that has ever touched my life, my family, my friends, like my dad pushed me beyond belief growing up. And like, because I played soccer and field hockey, and then I had to make a choice which one I wanted to play for college, and I chose field hockey. But yeah.
Well, we are glad you chose field hockey, and congratulations once again, Ainsley.
Thank you.
Welcome to our home.
Thank you.
This is exciting. Phone call, Colin, he was the first phone call I made when I was, letting people know that they were being inducted into our Athletic Hall of Fame. And, I would not take it this way. Some people might take it this way. But the first words out of his mouth was, "It's about time." And what did I say back to you? Yes, it is about time. Certainly an accomplished player, scored over 1,200 points, still in the top 10, which after 30-something years, that's quite an accomplishment. Still in the top 5 in some other categories, which we've had quite a few players since then, right, Flu? I mean, you coached half of them, right? And all-conference player, connected to our program, just a great alum, and certainly a happy guy, which we are so excited to be putting into our Athletic Hall of Fame. Finally, it's about time. Please welcome Gerald Jones.
Good afternoon.
So, what brought you to Oneonta?
I played in a high school all-star game, Big Ten versus Suburban in the Albany area. And after the game, as a 17-year-old, 17-year-old, Mike Basenilak approached me and asked me if I was interested in Oneonta. So that's how it began. I visited 5 schools, and I visited here, and it felt like home.
Felt like home. That's what we hear it every year from home, right? We've heard it for years. It's home. So you got here now. We didn't have we had a JV team then, and you spent a year playing on the JV and led them in scoring. And the story that I get from Flu is that he asked you to come up to the varsity, but you wanted to stay with your guys on the JV because you just felt so strong about the team. So talk about that experience, because obviously when we talk about records in history, that 1,200 points could have been 1,600 points or 1,700 points. You know what I'm saying? But the team aspect, talk about that.
At the time, Vern and Lou Nearing were seniors, so I wasn't going to get that much playing time. And being on the JV team with my point guards in the house, Russ Levine, and my big guy, Rich O'Keefe, we were all on that freshman team. So for me, it was about getting time on the court, and it was special. And those guys that were on the varsity then, we used to scrimmage them. And I used to be able to hold my own for sure. But it was about getting playing time. And for the SUNY championships, Coach Flew brought me up, and I got a couple minutes. So it was, that was my first getting my feet wet.
Now, did you think it was important for you, like you said, time on the court, the player development? Because it is a big transition going from high school to college in every sport. I don't care if you're an all-star or an all-American, but, talk about that transition.
The transition was pretty smooth because my mom and dad had paid for me to go to St. Patrick's when I was a kid, St. Peter's, and LaSalle Institute. I went to Catholic schools my whole life. This was the first time I entered a public institution, so my parents laid the groundwork for me to really just be here and, made it easier because they had prepared me academically my whole life.
What was your experience like? G-rated stories.
Yeah, Dina took care of all the extra.
Yeah, there is no.
No, I don't want. I'm keeping it G-rated. I'm not gonna. What was your question?
What was your experience like?
It was great here. It's just great here. Like my sophomore year, after my freshman year, I got on academic probation. So I went back home for the summer, and my mom said, when you go back there, if you fail out, you better not come back here. So I got more serious then. Cut down on. We were like partying. I was partying too much. So me and Coach got on me. My mom and my dad and my mom got on me, and they just set up everything because it goes so fast. The 4 years go so fast. You think it's gonna you're gonna be a college student forever, and you blink and you're a junior or you're not here. So that's.
So I really want to talk. He traveled with the world famous Harlem Globetrotters. He played for the Washington Generals. He traveled all over the world, and we had a chance. And before I go any further, just so you know, we did full-length podcasts with each one of the inductees, and they're on our website, and you can download them, and you can listen to them at your leisure. And they're just a longer form of what we're doing now, and it just highlights a few more things. So I encourage you to go to our website and please download and listen to those because, again, they're just great to listen to. And again, for me, who didn't get an opportunity to watch you or Dina play, it was a chance for me to get to know you a little better. So this Harlem Globetrotters thing, you traveled with them for like 6 months now. I asked if you guys were the sacrificial lambs, but you had to make the games competitive. So talk a little bit about their experience.
Yeah, I'll let y'all know a little secret about the Globetrotters. It's all staged. We play defense half the time, and that weave, they automatically score on. So pretty much before the game starts, it's 35-0. And if the game is close and you're spotting 30, that means you did your job. because you still have to have players to play against them that, or it won't be a real good show. So, you know, if we came within 10, we did our job. And it was great because I got to see the whole, I went to 30 states, Cayenne, Martinique, Mexico City, played in 6 NBA arenas, NHL arenas, colleges, Michigan State. So it was, and I'll let y'all know one more secret. To be a Washington General, you have to be a college graduate. So they want people responsible on the road. So that'll let you know a little more.
Anything about your experience that maybe you'd like to highlight over your 4 years?
Beating Hardwick. This is 1991, and for some reason, Coach Fluke could tell the story better. There was a riot back in the 70s, so we didn't play each other for 20 years or something like that, till my senior year. And it was the Hardwick Invitational. And we both won our first round games, and we finally got to play Hardwick. And I was the MVP of the tournament.
And is there anyone that you'd like to thank?
Well, there's a lot of people. My parents, first of all. I would not be in this Hall of Fame without them. And I have two of the best parents in the world.
Please stand, please stand.
This little Mrs. Gerald. Married for 53 years. When they were married for 50 years, 3 years ago, they renewed their vows. And I'm 53, so I was in the belly summer of 69. They got married in the summer of 69. I was born October of 69.
Well, listen, it is about time, and we are certainly glad now that you are in our Athletic Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Seems like we do this a lot, don't we? We do it a lot. You and I have been doing this a long time. We're going to get to the person who can really connect a lot of this because she's been here just for all of it, which is outstanding. I could go on for an hour. We don't have an hour about all the accomplishments. I mean, she has achieved at every level, going all the way back to Skenevis, right? All the way back to local Skenevis, Ithaca College, All-American, SUNY Chancellor Award winner, Athletic Director of the Year, National Coach of the Year. I mean, those are just a few of the Reader's Digest condensed version of what she has meant to this college, what she has meant to our department. Me personally, I think this is an opportunity to let you know that I wasn't their first choice as the Sports Information Director here. And Tracey chaired that committee. I don't know if that was, but I think we worked out okay. And I am better for it. I am better for it. Okay? And I thank you so much for the opportunity that you gave to me to be here at this college. And we can't thank you enough for everything that you've done. I mean, we're in the Hall of Fame, but it's not enough. You know what I'm saying? You've just done so much for this college, and you've meant so much to everyone in this room. So please help me welcome Tracey Ranieri. So yeah, seriously, I mean, you and I have sat down so many times and done like this Q&A thing, you know, it's like, we should have gone on the road with it. We could have just kept talking about Oneonta and how great it is. I mean, it's just amazing. And for me, again, I know it's hard to try and narrow down things for you and highlights and accomplishments, but if you can try and give us a couple of highlights, that you think stand out. Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm so humbled. I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee, and I have so many people to thank. I hope you give me a chance to do that. Highlights are without a doubt student athletes graduating, and as many of our Eileen particularly alluded to, that was what we needed to do, and so very proud over 30 years to really focus on that. And yes, there were athletes like Dina who we needed to get on track. We're going to have to talk a little bit after, okay? Because things have definitely changed. But at the same time, there were really high achievers that were doing it as well. And again, we just found a way as a community to really lift up student athletes. I really felt like every day when I went into the office, I had an opportunity to make a student athlete's day. I wanted it to be better, and I had the privilege of having a chance to do that. And all of us as coaches in the athletic department felt that way, and even as an administrator too, even when students got pretty jammed up with some of the things that they did, we found a way to say, you're gonna get through this, we're gonna get through this, we care about you, thank you for being so dedicated to being an athlete. And then when you hear other Hall of Famers say that athletics mattered, that the discipline, the perseverance, the teamwork, the work ethic, those things you're carrying through your life, that as a high school and college athlete myself, was what I really wanted to model. And I'm just so grateful to the players that I coached that they got it.
You must have, we've talked about this in the past, your mentors, people who really gave you the foundation as a female athlete, to accomplish, So who were some of those, and why do you think they impacted you so much? Like, what were the lessons?
Well, I'm just very proud that my high school coach, Noreen Decker, is here. I hope she could stand up for a second.
Stand, please.
Eileen put up with me for 50 years. Please do not talk to her. I am a very changed woman. Without a doubt. And I think Eileen alluded to it as well when you talk about mentors. I had the dream team of leadership in student development and student affairs with Dr. Perry, Dr. Ingersoll, Roger Sullivan, and Dr. Jean Miller. That dream team was really every day coming into work and trying to make them proud, because they listened, they helped us to advance what we needed to advance, they helped us grow a budget that was to travel, because the better we got, the more expensive it was, because we were going all over the country. And while there were so many demands on the college all over the place, they were able to help us, support us, and manage it. So thank you, Dr. Perry. Dr. Perry is here as well, all the way from Ohio. Thank you so much for coming.
Are there a couple of things that maybe, like some of the policy, when I got here, it was a transition of sorts as well. We were going from, part-time coaches, under phys ed, we're now going into athletics, and we've got another boss, and that whole transition time. What was that like? You were coaching, but you were also doing some administrative stuff. Can you talk about that transition? Because it did get us to where we're at. So.
Well, it was a community, like Eileen mentioned. It was a community of people that believed, first of all, student athletes were the best students on campus. And when Ryan mentions that, it really is true. And I kept those records for 30 years. Student athletes had a higher GPA, they had a higher retention rate, and they had a higher graduation rate. So guess what? Let's keep supporting student athletes with what we were doing. So that was a real feather in our cap. That led to, many of us, including myself, were part-time coaches in the beginning. So to convince the college that it was valuable to have full-time coaches really made a difference in all that we were doing. I also think that, from a coaching standpoint, you got to recruit. And if anybody knows Dave Ranieri is like the best recruiter in the world. Many of the women that are in this room are here because Dave Ranieri is relentless, relentless. And it was so much fun to coach together and get it. We had to go and recruit. So it was day and it was night, and it was fun. And we got what we needed to make some great teams. And then I think from an administrative side, the Student Affairs Division recognized that we needed to get out and recruit, and our coaches really were committed to that. So we did get the right players and the right people to come to Oneonta.
And the growth of our athletic facilities, I mean, certainly, you know, that was a passion of yours anyway. I mean, you knew that recruiting and facilities, they go hand in hand. I mean, if you show up in the baseball field, it looks like it's a pit, you're not going to come and play, right?
Well, I learned this from actually a player that I was recruiting who's in the room today. She might not remember this, but she was playing. We found her, she was playing down at the Hall of Fame fields. The Soccer Hall of Fame fields was where we actually practiced because we didn't have a facility on campus at the time. And we got this player to come up to campus, and it was right after we actually got our new field, and it was with grass. And she came to the field and she said, geez, this is beautiful. And she was a very talented player. And I said, what do you want to major in? And she said, oh, I'd like to major in physical education. And I said, oh my God, you can't come to Oneonta. We don't have physical education. She said, well, what can I major in? So she is in education. She's an elementary teacher right now, and we are so glad that she changed her major to come here. But that's when I really recognized that facilities really matter, because a serious athlete wants a good facility, and they know that you're taking it serious.
2003, that's the year. Just maybe a little bit about that whole ride and winning that national title.
Can you just raise your hand if you were there? If you were there. There's a couple people that were there. Thank you for being there. I was talking with someone just the other day downtown randomly about they knew right where they were at that moment. And so for those of you who are not there, I'll just give you the quick version, really quick about that last 2 minutes of the game. So the University of Chicago is a giant. All of their players were 5'8", 5'9", very big, and they played the game in the air. Oneonta was a very short, smaller team, very fast, very technical team, and our game was on the ground. We were committed to playing our game. And the lead up to the national championship game was a really hard road. We played amazing teams to get to that moment, which is a whole nother story, so I won't, another time. But please let me just tell you, Tricia, Jager, are you here? Jager, are you here? Jager here, Jager. I gotta just say it, a lot of people talk about the winning goal, but I gotta talk about the minute, so we're losing to Chicago 1-0 with a minute left in the game. And I hear Jeff say, 1 minute left. He's on the announcements. I'm like, wow. Tricia Jager, who is probably one of the smartest, most intelligent soccer players in our Hall of Fame, she is defending the Player of the Year from the University of Chicago in our defensive end in the corner. There's a minute left. What do? If you're a soccer player, you go hang out in the corner for the last minute of the game. The game is over. Tricia is so intelligent that she is able to steal that ball, play it forward. Amanda gets a major foul. Rose, who is here as well, plays a ball into the box, and then Brooke finds it into the goal with 29 seconds left in the game. We tie the game. People, if that wasn't enough about never give up. Never give up in the game, no matter what you do. Never give up in life. That was my moment, and I always reach back to it. I wear my national championship ring, and when things get hard, I'm like, we can get through this. And then, of course, 2 minutes later, Sonata, serves a ball that finds its way into the net. Yeah, Sonata, she tells that story. I'm like, just say you were shooting it, please. Really? God. Anyway, it was amazing, and it was amazing for it was a community effort to get us there because it was during Thanksgiving weekend. The college was closed. We had so many people in this room that brought meals for the players. We had, our parents were absolutely amazing in every way, shape, or form. I could tell you so many stories, but to win a national championship, let me just tell you, Oneonta has been on the verge of national championships for decades. It is so hard to do it because it just has to be perfect, right? It has to be perfect. You can't have a single injury. You can't have any drama. And that's always around, right? But we were lucky, and I'm just really, really privileged to be inducted with this class and certainly with this national championship team, because I was watching that and I cried like a baby when they won. Just really proud.
Even though we knew the ending, it was still exciting.
Still, again, yes.
So now you have a list of people you would like to thank, and who are those people?
Okay, well, all right. Well, certainly my family. And I have both old and new friends here today that I just love so dearly. You're just making my life so amazing in this retirement too. Thank you to my friends for putting up with me. I really, really want to thank the players. It was intense. There were moments that were really intense, and I'm really hoping that they keep all of those stories to themselves. Please, please. I don't know if you can get kicked out of the Hall of Fame, but come on, cut me a break. They are a family beyond family, because I just love them so much, and we went through so much together. And when you're 17 and now you're 30, I am feeling just so blessed that these women are in my life. I really want to thank the coaching staff, because being a coach is one of the hardest things that you can do. It is day, and it is night, and it is weekends, and you will not find a more dedicated staff than a college coaching staff, especially here at Oneonta. Administratively too, and you and Ryan are just absolutely amazing. I want to thank the Division of Student Affairs, now formerly Student Development, my leadership team, but also the directors, because for us every day was about making a student athlete's life better, and it was a really amazing time to be doing it together and always be supporting each other. So lucky for that. I think without a doubt, there's faculty in this room too that really helped to recruit, and recruiting is number one. And Dr. Bush, Dr. Peterface, there are so many folks that really got it, that said, we are going to get this recruit because Dave and Tracey want this kid. All right, and they would stop what they were doing to actually make it happen, because their passion for their discipline was as the same as our passion for the sport, and they were able to merge that for the student and their family. So we got some really good players that we might not have gotten otherwise. And then, of course, I've already recognized my high school coach, Noreen Decker, who was just amazing through my entire life and has been there for me throughout all of it. I need to, thank my college roommate. If we can all be so lucky to have our college teammates be in our lives 40 years later, how blessed are we? She drove from Texas to be here. Secrets, keep the secrets. And last but always first is my incredible husband. If you don't know Dave Ranieri, you want to know Dave Ranieri. This is my everyday life. I get to live with this guy who, for 32 years, has just lifted me up. And how many people can say for 16 years, day and night, we did it together? I don't know how many people would survive that, but we just thrived in it. And I'm just so glad for these next 30 years for us.
Congratulations. Welcome to our Hall of Fame. Okay, so you can see why I love this day. We just celebrate everything that is great great about Oneonta. I mean, athletes, administrators, coaches, I mean, friends, alumni, and it is just, again, it was wonderful to see you all. We are glad you came. I mean, a high school coach coming, I mean, that's just incredible. So, and teammates, you know, I mean, 30, 40 years later, you're still buds, you're still talking, you're still telling the stories. No initiation stories, though, you know? So, on behalf of the athletic department and the Hall of Fame, I personally would like to thank you. We're going to have each group come up and unveil their plaques one at a time. So we're going to get our 4x4 to go up first to unveil their plaque. Congratulations, guys. Eileen McClafferty. And maybe the next time you come to our field house, you will see these plaques on the walls, positioned forever. You are part of our history. Dina St. Clair. Ainsley Stoll. Mr. Excitement, Gerald Jones. And Tracey Ranieri. Okay, if we could just have one last round of applause for our Hall of Famers. Incredible day. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you same time next year. All right, enjoy your day, everyone.